Hi, welcome to this SQL tutorial video, and today I'm going to do an introduction to SQL. SQL or SQL stands for Structured Query Language, and it's a programming language used for managing data in a relational database. A relational database is a collection of tables with a predefined relationship. I'll cover that in a little bit more detail shortly, but generally speaking, although it is a little bit more complicated than that, it's just a database is just a set of tables that store data. And the application that we use to write SQL and manage these databases is called SQL Server Management Studio. And this is what you're seeing on screen here. So SQL Server Management Studio is kind of in three parts. So the first part here is this, you've got these tabs here that you see in other Microsoft applications, with this toolbar below here, and this toolbars get added and disappear depending on kind of what you're doing and what processes you're working on. On the left hand side, we've got this thing called Object Explorer that has kind of a graphical representation of our databases and our structure. So at the top here we've got this high level, and this is called a SQL instance, and within a SQL instance you will have or could have multiple databases, and this generally, a SQL instance will be a SQL server. You could have lots of SQL servers. If you haven't got a connection, if I just close that down, if we click on connect, or we click on this little connect button here, it brings up this connect to server, and then you put the server name that you're interested in. There's obviously permissions and such like that you need to make sure you've got to access the server itself. So when we click on connect, we've got this graphical representation on the left hand side, and it's really good. I'm not going to go through a lot of this, but what I will go through is this first folder here called databases, and within here, quite obviously then, is a set of our databases, and within each database we can click on the little plus and we've got more options, and one of these options is called tables, and within tables we've got a list of our tables. The other part of the screen, this dark blue part here, there's nothing there just at the minute, and to start playing with data and interrogate a database, you need to start to do a query. So if I just click on this database here, my films database, and I click on this new query, or I could right click and I can select new query, it will open up this main part of the screen now. So we've got a query window. See here it says query, and I can have multiple queries. I can click new query again, I can click new query again, and we can have multiple queries going on. And when we've got too many, and I've got more than three kind of tabs open, then this little drop down here will show more than the three tabs that are showing, because of the limited room. I'm going to close these down. I just want one tab open at the minute. So writing SQL allows you to interrogate the data in a database, or in the tables in a database, and in order to do that you've got to write particular syntax, and the syntax to get data from a table is select star from, and then whatever table you want to look at. So I'm going to do this table called LT_film, and when I've written my SQL I can press execute, and now this main screen will split into two, and it will show the results below my SQL, and I can manage the space by using my mouse and clicking and dragging. So it's a very basic select. It's the first select then in this tutorial. Generally when you're writing SQL, your SQL should have at least two parts. The first part is what information do you want to see, and the second part is where is the information. So select star in SQL is a wildcard, and it means everything. So select everything from this table, press execute or F5, and there's the results. You don't have to do star. Right now we've got 6 columns here. Maybe we just want to see 3 of the columns, in which case we can get rid of the star and we can just type in the columns that we're interested in seeing. You have to do a comma to separate each column, and as you type you'll notice that it's got this thing, it's called Intellisense, and as you type it tries to presume what it is you're interested, what it is you're trying to find, and that's what I'm trying to find. So Alicia, if I do another comma and I start typing user rating, if I start typing, suddenly it's offering me all these things, and until I actually get to my text is only returning one value, and that's going to be my column. Until then, the Intellisense will offer all sorts of things that have a US in, and then when I put an E in there, everything that's got a US E. So that's called Intellisense. There's my 3 columns, and I can press execute. Now, if I can, just as part of this, what you are able to do, so I've got a basic select here, and it's selecting from a single table. I can have lots of tables, but right now, just for this tutorial, I'm referencing a single table. However, it might be a long table name, it might be complicated. What you are able to do is you're able to give your tables that you're referencing an alias. So it can be anything. So in this case, I can just do T1 for table 1, or I can do FI for film. The use of that is, and what's kind of good, and it's very good practice to give aliases and use aliases. So if I get rid of that now, I can do select star again. But if I just want 3 columns, now I've given my table an alias, I can use that alias, and it will force SQL to be very, very precise. So without it, as I start typing release year, it offers me, all of this stuff here. But if I do, if I prefix it with my alias FI, and then I do a dot, it will only offer me the columns in that table. So now I can use my up and down arrow, and when I find the column I want, I can press tab, comma, FI dot, I can start typing. There it is, tab, comma, FI dot, user, there it is, tab, F5, and there's my date. So that was an introduction to SQL and SQL Server Management Studio. I hope you found it helpful. Any comments or questions, please leave them below. Thanks so much for your time. See you next time.